Got to give the people what they want. Welcome to another edition of Power to the People, to our Atlanta audience live and to our Buffalo audience live. And to those of you who are watching all over the place, welcome to another edition of Power to the People. We have so much to talk about. And listen, especially those of you in Atlanta, tune in right now because I have somebody who knows a lot about Atlanta as far as politics and voting and what we're going through here in the city of Atlanta. And we got to be careful also up here in Buffalo. He is the county executive of Erie County here in New York State. Marc Poloncarz, welcome to the show.
It's good to be here, Darius. It's good to be with you again because we spent a lot of time through the years.
We spent a lot of time. And all of our boards that we were on when I was council president. And, of course, you have been county executive for how many years?
This is my 15th year.
Wow.
This is my 21st year in county government. I started in 2005 as the county controller, the elected chief financial officer. In 2011, I got elected county executive, and I have a year and a half left in my term. So I started as the fresh face. Now I'm kind of the gray beard.
What made you, and for those of you in Atlanta, I am going to ask them to, in a few minutes, to explain, but not just Atlanta, but some people in Buffalo don't know what the county does, but what made you decide to retire?
When you've been around, and this is my fourth term, four-year term, as much as I have, you accomplish a lot, and we've accomplished a tremendous amount. I had never intended on running for a fourth term when I won my third term, but I won my third term in 2019, took office January 1st, 2020. Everything I wanted to do got pushed aside in that third term because of what occurred thereafter.
Absolutely.
We had the COVID pandemic, which basically shut down our community and the world for a year and a half to 2 years. We finally come out of the COVID pandemic. Things are going well. And then, of course, we had May 14th in Buffalo in the mass shooting. And that was a horrible thing that the community is still recovering from.
Yes.
And then later that year, we had a terrible blizzard. So everything I wanted to accomplish that year got pushed aside. And for our friends in Atlanta and Georgia, Erie County is the primary provider of health and human services when it comes to the greater community. The city of Buffalo is important, but the city of Buffalo does police, fire, garbage pickup, schools. We do everything else. And so when it comes to the implementation of federal programs like Medicaid or SNAP, or the issues associated with seniors and older adults and everything in between, child protective services, the county does that. And then we do roads, parks, libraries, and everything else. So it's a really important position. It's got the largest budget. And then Erie County itself is comparable in size. It's actually bigger in size than 5 states.
I didn't know that.
It's bigger than North Dakota, South Dakota, Wyoming, Alaska, and Vermont. Their population is smaller than Erie County.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's about the same size geographically as the state of Rhode Island. It has a budget similar to Rhode Island's. And what I want people to understand is we're there to help people. And so I ran to make a difference in our community. And when I ran for the fourth term, I really wasn't planning on it, but I felt I needed to because everything I wanted to accomplish in my final third term got pushed aside because all we were doing is reacting to emergencies. And so this final fourth term, we've been able to accomplish a lot, including construction of the new Buffalo Bills Stadium, focusing on issues of health equity, our Live Well Erie plan, which is to ensure that every individual lives their best life possible from birth through their golden years. And I couldn't do that in my third term, but I'm getting a lot of it accomplished now. And because I feel we are accomplishing what I wanted, it's time to walk away.
So, when many politicians, I shouldn't say most, you've never lost an election as county executive. You have won every time.
County executive and county controller.
And county
6 for 6.
So you've never lost an election.
No, I've worked on campaigns and been involved with campaigns that have lost, but I myself have never lost an election.
So most would just keep riding this train.
Yeah.
You say time to go. And I know that feeling of when it's time to go. When I felt it was time for me to go, it wasn't because I had never lost an election, whether it's school board or president of the council, but I woke up one day and I was like, yep, this is it.
Yeah, there's a point in your career when you realize what more can I accomplish in this position? And I feel I'm still young. I'm 58, but I have more to give. But when it comes to that more to give, I feel I can give it in different ways, and on a more national scale. So one of the things that we were talking about prior was that I'm now the chair of the National Democratic County Officials. I represent every county elected officials and the county parties, the chairs, so to speak, on the DNC. And I have that through the remainder of my term, and it allows me to focus on races across the United States to help people like me who want to get involved but don't know what to do or haven't the resources to do it. So I'm sort of expanding my political work that I've done here. And
that's national.
This is national.
We're talking about right now. You are sitting in a position that represents all of the county executives, Democrat county executives.
And legislators and clerks and sheriffs. There's more than 3,000 counties in the United States. And when it comes to elected Democrats, when you include everyone, there's actually more than 10,000 of them. I represent them as the chair of the National Democratic County Officials. And I'm a DNC member. I attend meetings. I know the new chair, Ken Martin. We talk about what's happening in our country, how we can win races, how we can flip red seats blue, working with partners across the country. The actual new second vice chair of National Democratic County Officials comes from Chatham County, Georgia, which is the Savannah area, and that's Aaron Whitley. Larry Johnson, who was the former head of NACO and is a member of NDCO, is now running for state senate in the DeKalb County, Henry County areas. So I got a lot of friends, but the nice thing is this position gives me an opportunity to assist people that I know are working on the better half of the community, including across the United States, not just what we've done here in Western New York or New York State.
So now you have this national platform. And I mean, how did you get there? This was something you had to run for? Did you have to campaign for? Were you chosen for?
Well, I was chosen for by the members.
Okay.
We actually sort of campaign. There's a
What does that mean?
Well, there's a board.
Right.
There's membership, there's a board, and then there's the executive committee.
Okay.
And you have to go through a process where you move up into the executive committee. I was second vice president. I was first vice president. My predecessor came from Hamilton County, Ohio, Denise Treehouse, which is the Cincinnati area. Her predecessor came from the Minneapolis area, from Michigan. That predecessor came from Minneapolis. So it's a national organization with leaders from across the country, but you got to have the support of the membership.
Right.
And if you don't, and they just think you're not willing to help them out and work on behalf of the country and our party, you're not going to move forward.
Yeah.
So I got the support. And when I became first vice president, I didn't have any opposition, which means nice because in my county, for those who are in Georgia, I have always faced a Republican opponent. I've never had a free race. Erie County is a purple race. And when I had the opportunity to become first vice president and nobody ran against me, it was like, wow, this is a great feeling. It doesn't happen.
Absolutely right.
So I moved up, and the most recent chair moved on. She's got a different role. And as a result, I became the chair, and I am now, through the end of 2027, the representative of county officials in the Democratic Party nationwide.
I mean, that's great that you're there. Let's talk about the Democratic Party a little bit, because I talk a lot about on this show, and I know Hakeem Jeffries has been in Buffalo. At the end of the day, what is the Democratic Party standing for? I hear a lot of people talk about anti-Trump. And I think many people want to hear, besides anti-Trump, because he's there, what is the Democratic Party?
Well, first off, the message can't be just anti-Trump.
Absolutely.
If we're going to win the White House in 2028 or take back the House this year, it can't be just about anti-Trump. It's about, what are you going to do for me? The Democratic Party is the party of the working men and women of this country. I like to remind everybody, the Republicans like to say what the Democrats are, but I'm going to tell you who they are and why I'm proud to be a Democrat. I'm proud to be a Democrat from the party that Franklin Delano Roosevelt brought us with regards to Social Security, the 8-hour workday, protecting union rights. I'm proud to be a member of the Democratic Party that was JFK and LBJ that brought us civil rights and the Voting Rights Amendment, which of course is under attack nationally, as well as Medicaid and Medicare, programs that are astronomically popular with the public today. The Affordable Care Act and health care. It's the Democratic Party, only the Democratic Party, that's fighting to ensure each and every one of our citizens has high-quality, affordable health care. The Republican Party has tried to strip it, and there are millions of people nationwide because of the big, ugly bill who have lost their health care. Only the Democratic Party is fighting for health care. And we know how important health care is. If you don't have health care, you're not going to the doctor. You're not going to a clinic because you're afraid of paying for it. But if you don't go to the doctor and you don't go to the clinic and you have an issue, when you finally go, it could be too late. So everyone should have high-quality, affordable health care, and only the Democratic Party is fighting for it. We're there ensuring that the affordability issue that is going on in the country today is addressed. I don't want to make it too political, but the president is focused on billionaires. And unless you were a billionaire, you did not get a benefit from the big, ugly bill. The rest of the people were basically left with the bill, which is paying for the tax breaks for the wealthy. So I want to remind everybody that when the Republicans say, oh, those Democrats are scary, I said, they're not scary. They're the people in your community. They're the pastors in your church. They're your soccer coaches, the football coaches. And they're there to protect the men and women of this country and their families, giving everybody an opportunity to reach their full potential.
Well, hopefully, since you are now on the DNC, you articulate that message to them that they need to say it louder. Because I think I just hear the kind of apathy in so many people's voices and hearts of what are we standing for. And I think because the other voices are so loud, and of course whoever has the White House has the loudest voice, that what you just said is really drowned out sometimes.
Correct.
Because we don't hear it. We just don't hear it. I see so many campaigns who are so focused on who's in the White House that it's almost like they've forgotten who's in our house.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I've always remembered as an elected official, and you will know, is the people are your bosses. People would say, it must be great to be county executive. You've got no boss. I go, I got a million bosses.
They really don't know. Exactly.
I got a million bosses, and people will tell me what to do when I'm at the supermarket or no matter where I am. But too often elected officials forget that.
Yeah.
And what we need to remind ourselves is we work for the people.
Yep.
Our goal is to make life better for our community. I've always said, I'll let other people determine my legacy, but if I can't walk out the door saying I left the county in better shape than when I took it, then I failed. I feel very confident I can say Erie County is in much better shape economically, with regards to our finances, the services we provide, than when I took it. Other people can determine my legacy. But if you're an elected official and you're not focused on that, you're probably in the wrong business.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't be about what you're against. You should be about what you stand for. And that's the message I'm sending and sharing with our partners in NDCO. And I wish some of our other partners would share it. You see the talking heads on TV, but they don't represent Main Street. They represent Wall Street. They may represent K Street in Washington, but they don't represent what's happening in Main Street, Buffalo. And I think people need to understand that whether it's here or whether it's in Georgia, that there are people fighting for you, but you got to push them to remind them that you're my boss.
So, about to retire. In a whole another year or something.
Yeah,
Let's be clear.
Year and 5 months.
It is not this year coming up. There's not going to be an election. You are now you are the top, you are the president of a nationwide organization. You have just started, I believe, a PAC.
PAC, Boosting Future Leaders Onward, to help county and local officials across the United States. As I said, we just endorsed Larry Johnson for State Senate District number 10 in Georgia. We're endorsing in Tennessee. We're endorsing in Missouri.
And PAC is about money.
PAC is
You're
about
raising money.
Yeah, and it's not easy to raise money.
So you're raising money right now. So here's the thought that I know is in people's head because I've heard it come out of their mouth. He's getting ready to do something nationally. Is that true?
Well, I am through NDCO and BFLO, Boosting Future Leaders Onward. I'm from Buffalo. We came up with a name that had a nice acronym that references Buffalo, BFLO. I am, but I think it's important that people, we all have a voice in the party. And I believe that and we're from New York, but we like to joke we're from the West Coast of New York because we're on the West Coast of New York State, on the East Coast of Lake Erie. But if we're just hearing the voices from New York City and Los Angeles, we're missing out on truthfully what our country is and the issues that we're dealing with. And I'm trying to, through NDCO and what I'm doing with BFLO, become more of a voice. And I'm having an opportunity to do that. I'm traveling across the country. Actually, in a week and a half, I'll be in Tennessee, assisting them in their general elections, which are actually held in August. And the idea is, if we just listen to the voices on the coast, we're missing out on what truly is happening in our country. And if the Democratic Party does that, shame on itself, because we will lose in 2028.
So, everybody thinks you're out to, like getting more involved in the presidential races and all of that kind of stuff. And it's true. That's what it sounds like.
Well, I certainly think that we need to have these voices in our
totally
party.
Agree.
It's people look and say, hey, you're crazy. You're a county executive. And I remind people, I said, well, I am, but I also represent more people than 5 states. And if one of the governors or U.S. senators from that state ran, people would be like, oh, yeah, they should run. They're the governor of the state, even though they only represent 500,000 people. I was at an event this past week in New Orleans, and there was somebody there from Wyoming, and they joked. They said, we have 1.2 million herd of cattle and 550,000 residents. And
more cattle than people.
There's more cattle than people. And in my county is double that size.
Yeah.
So it's urban, suburban, and rural. Erie County is not just the city of Buffalo.
That's right.
For those who don't know, Reverend Pridgen sat on our Erie County Industrial Development Agency as the council president for many years and reviewed and approved a lot of projects that are not in Buffalo, some in rural areas, some in suburban areas. And when you represent a community like that, you really get a feeling for what it's like representing a much larger area.
Absolutely.
And we should have a voice. Why not?
So let's dig into Marc Poloncarz, who is also an attorney.
Yes.
Right?
I still have my law license.
So do you do anything in law since you've been county executive?
Well, not independently practicing,
Okay.
no. But a lot of the work that I do as county executive is legally related. I'll give you a best example of that for our friends in Atlanta as well. I've negotiated 2 leases with the Buffalo Bills. And the newest one, of course, is for the construction of the new stadium. And there was a tremendous amount of time and effort that went into it. And I used a lot of my legal skills to help me during that period when we're negotiating not just a lease like you would for renting a home, but 50 documents, including construction agreements, our community benefit agreement, which will bring $100 million back from the team to our community over 30 years. So having that background and still technically being an attorney helps me because I learn what's happening in the law. As an attorney, you're required to do continuing legal education. So I got to take a certain number of credits every 2 years, so I find out what's happening in the law. And it's helpful when I have to deal with an issue. Just dealt with an issue with regards to the Buffalo School Board. And I asked some questions of my county attorney team, and they came back with the answer, and they showed me where in the New York State law the power lies. And as an attorney, I could go, okay, I understand that. I can go check on it and read it and understand it for myself. So I'm not practicing as an independent attorney, but I use a lot of my legal skills every day as county executive.
When you were practicing, and I just want this interview, part of it, for people to know you. What was your area?
Well, the joke was in my law firm, Kevin Okie Cook, I was the utility infielder.
Okay.
They could put me in and do a house closing in the morning, do a bankruptcy in the afternoon. Late afternoon, I could help a corporation. And then in the evening, I'd drive out to somewhere else way outside of Erie County and handle someone's DWI. So, but my primary focus was on real estate and finance.
Okay.
And representing companies, but as well as governments on bond deals. And bond deals are very complicated deals. They're sometimes tens or hundreds of millions of dollars that is being borrowed on behalf of a government. So I did that. But because of my background, I did everything.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing is I liked doing bankruptcies because it gave people second chances. And I remember a couple, I won't use their name, But they were at their wits' end, and they filed bankruptcy because the wife had a serious health issue. And this is why what President Obama did with the Affordable Care Act was huge. Is that couple would not have to file bankruptcy today because they'd have health care,
right?
But for whatever got pulled away under the big ugly bill. But I remember that, and it was a couple. They worked hard. She had cancer. She had a terrible issue. She got over it, and then she had like $300,000 in bills. And they made combined that year somewhere like $60,000. They had no way of paying their bills. And when we finished, and I said, it's done, it's over, they were crying because they had no more bill collectors were calling them. They had no more problems. They didn't lose their house. They were able to move on. So yeah, I represented companies, but I also represented people, and it gives you an eye-opening experience of how something with the law and a change can make a big difference. And that's why when the Affordable Care Act was passed, everyone was covered. So you didn't have to worry about people filing bankruptcy or people being rejected because of a pre-existing condition, like they had breast cancer or prostate cancer, the two most common cancers that are out there. And health insurance used to say, no, we're not going to insure you because you had breast cancer 10 years ago. And that's ridiculous. That shouldn't happen in the United States of America. And it didn't happen once the Affordable Care Act was passed. But now it's starting to happen again.
Absolutely.
And that's why it's got to change.
So, recently married?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, you were the most eligible bachelor in Erie County, they used to say.
Yes. Well,
congratulations.
Thank you. This is my second marriage. This is both our second marriages. And Lindsay Lauren Visser. She runs the Niagara Aerospace Museum as well as the appointed City of Buffalo historian. I always thought I wasn't going to get married again. But when you find the right person,
you find it. Right?
You find it, you know it, and I'm just like, I want to spend the rest of my life with her. And so I asked her to marry me last year when we were on vacation in England. And we just got married in June 12th. And
I'm going to always remember your wedding. It happened on the day of Juneteenth parade.
Oh, yes.
The governor had to leave in order to get to the, but she went all the way to the end.
That was the only time I had a legitimate excuse to miss the Juneteenth parade. Why aren't you coming? I'm getting married.
Well,
okay.
I'm going to say this. For anybody who thought you missed for any other reason, I've been with you in the Juneteenth parade, and I think the year before you actually walked with the governor and danced with people. I was dancing. And that was so different because and we'll get to, I'll try to close out with some of the stuff you're working on. But it was so different to see your personality like that. We've worked together for years. We worked together for at least a decade. And you are the type of elected official, or man, just person. You say what you mean. You do not hold your tongue. Correct. We watched that through COVID. We didn't always agree, but we were respectful of one another, and I appreciate that of how our relationship has been. I remember one time I did something and they had you on the news and they're like, well, Pridgen's doing this. You're like, well, I don't recommend it. And I came here and I was like, I don't care. But we never went at each other. We went about issues.
Correct.
So I know that about you.
And we can talk to each other.
And we can talk. We have each other's cell phone. Yeah. We never attacked one. Well, it's not in my personality, not in your personality. We don't do that. But to see you at Juneteenth, and you were I've never seen you that loose and comfortable. Your personality, what kind of personality you think you have?
Well, I mean, it's pretty laid back in general. But in the role that I have as the chief elected officer for an entire community, you can't be
right.
You can't open up. You can't be too loosey-goosey. Right. It started in COVID when I started putting videos on of me playing guitars and singing songs. People didn't know that. I used to be in a band.
Marc in the background shaking his head.
It's like I used to be in a band. I used to sing, and then I didn't do it for years. But I would bring out my guitar every now and then and play. And couldn't do it during COVID. So I did, and people are like, oh, my Lord, you play guitar? You sing? I go, yeah. And it's also just a realization that you should never just be you should always be yourself, but you should never be anything that you're not. And you see too often elected officials or people running for office who try to be something that they're not.
Absolutely.
So there I was. I remember Juneteenth parade, and I was getting down. And
you were getting down. Now, I'm not kidding.
And I remember, and she's like, what? I said, I'm from the city of Lackawanna, class of 85. Man, I'm not going to moonwalk down the street, but trust me, we were singing and dancing, we were having fun, and
it was natural.
It was Prince. I was like, I'll start singing Prince and stuff like that. They go, really? I go, that's me. And I want people to understand that these are difficult jobs.
Yeah.
These are sometimes very exceptionally serious jobs, and you have to take it seriously.
Yep.
But it's okay to show your other side. And I did that day, and I had many people said, I saw you dancing down Genesee. Holy mackerel, you got some moves.
It was fun, and I think you were probably the most talked about person in my circles who saw us coming down that street. I mean, we were with the governor, but they were talking about you, and I really appreciated that moment. I appreciated also the moment when I think I may have been one of the first elected officials to get COVID. And I remember a call from you calling just to check, and I will never forget that, and I appreciate that.
Well, certainly, as a friend, I wanted to check up because it was early, and a lot of people like to have different opinions of COVID today, but in my county, we lost more than 3,000 residents due to COVID, and there were people of all ages that we were lost, and especially during this first year when we really didn't know how to react to it. And I was worried.
Yeah.
Because it was not a minor thing.
Yeah.
And depending on your health condition today, if you caught COVID still, it's not a minor thing if you have underlying conditions. So I was very glad you were able to recover. But I remember it was you and another elected official, Tonawanda Supervisor Joe Eminger. Joe was in the hospital for quite some time. And I just want to let him know I'm thinking about you. And whatever you need, let us know because I got a whole health department at my disposal.
You did. There's so many stories I could tell where we've worked together, especially during a storm. And I just remember somebody not being able to get out of their house to get to, and you made a way. Everybody can have their opinion, but I appreciate that about you. I know people are going to miss you, but we still got a year and a half, so we still got time.
Still a year and a half?
So since we got a year and a half, what's happening now that you want people to know that you're working on now?
Well, big thing is, especially with the issues dealing with the big ugly bill, people losing their health care. And we're working on Health and Human Services. We have what's called the Live Well Erie Plan, which is to ensure that every resident, regardless of their age, from the newborn to our oldest adults, lives their best life possible. And that requires involvement from government. It requires involvement from not-for-profits. Not everybody's independently wealthy. Not everybody has health insurance, but we're here to let them know that there are services that we provide. Cancer screenings. If you don't have health insurance, we're still going to provide free cancer screenings for you. We're going to do lead testing. That's a big issue in the city of Buffalo because of the age of homes. And a lot of homes have lead paint on the walls. So there's a lot of things that we do for young children. There's also stuff that we do for older adults to ensure that they're living their best life possible. They're eating nutritious meals. They're getting out of their house. They're not just sitting in their house all day watching television. They're congregating with other adults. And the Live Well Erie plan is exactly that. You go to livewellerie.com and you can learn more about it. But we're really focused on that and health equity. We really saw in COVID the inequity that exists in healthcare. And what bothers me about what's going on the attacks on DEI is if you can't talk about equity, then you certainly can't talk about inequity. And there is inequity that exists with regards to healthcare, among other things in our country today. And I've said I believe we should be talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion because we're stronger as a country because of our diversity.
Absolutely.
If you can't talk about equity, you can't talk about inequity, and we need to talk about that. When it comes to inclusion, I follow the advice of the person who's living across the street from me permanently, Shirley Chisholm. Shirley Chisholm, for those who don't know, is actually buried in Forest Lawn Cemetery in Buffalo. But when it comes to inclusion, I believe everyone should have a seat at the table that we call the United States of America, and if they do not have a seat, bring a folding chair, just like Shirley. And there's a great statue, if you're in Buffalo, check it out, of Ms. Chisholm with a folding chair right next to her.
Well, if you go to Shirley Chisholm's grave, and her husband went to the church I grew up with, at St. Luke AME Zion Church on Ferry, you see Shirley Chisholm, and if you look straight across, you see Darius Pridgen.
Oh, you're going to be
purchased,
in the mausoleum?
And my name is already on it. My birth date is already on it, and a saying is already on it.
Well, let's wait many years for the rest of it.
I said I paid so much for it. You know, they said, well, you can get it done now. I paid so much for the thing. I'm like, no, I'm going to walk in there. When I go in there, I see it. And a matter of fact, the guy who came to me from Forest Lawn, who was with them at that time, his name was Kirkwood, and he comes to me at council. After a council meeting, he says, I got a wonderful opportunity for you. We've got this, this location, and I didn't realize it was a double in the mausoleum. And I go, no, I'm not thinking about it. And this is what changed my mind. He said there are only 3 spots left in this mausoleum before it's full. And I said, still not interested. And he tells me the price. Definitely wasn't interested. And he said, it's straight across from Shirley Chisholm. I'm interested,
Yeah.
and I got that for that reason, to be in the same place where history has been made.
And I bet I've seen it.
Yeah.
It's if you don't look for it, you
Yeah.
wouldn't find. It's not like it's
Right.
there's a great statue outside the
Right.
mausoleum, but inside the mausoleum, you kind of have to look for it.
You got to look up. Yes,
It tells
'cause
you
it's
a
at
lot
top.
about her as a person.
Yeah.
and her husband, that they weren't like, we have to be up front.
Exactly.
Because, you know, we're born naked, and we come out, when we leave this world, we all leave the world in one way.
We are going to leave one way.
Yeah.
So you're working on that. Are you seeing a cut from the federal government when it comes to health?
We're expecting it next year.
Yeah.
We're expecting that we're going to have to take over some of the costs associated with SNAP, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. It's going to be significant. The first year hit will be 27. The major hit will be 28, because the fiscal years are different.
Okay.
So the federal fiscal year will only affect us partially next year.
Okay.
It will really affect Erie County and all counties across the United States starting in 2028. And it's tens of millions of dollars. We're expecting a $15 million hit just in 27, but it could be $50 million in 28. That means what ended up happening in the Big Ugly Bill, the National Association of Counties calls it the big shift. It didn't cut things. It just shifted the payment for it from the federal governments to the state and local governments, the counties. And now the services might still be provided under SNAP, even though Medicaid was cut, but now they're going to expect the local governments and the states to pay for it. It's going to be bad.
Yeah.
It really is going to be bad.
Is Erie County prepared?
We're prepared for next year. We're going to be able to issue a budget for 27, but I will be responsible for preparing the budget for 2028. I will do whatever I can to ensure we have a balanced budget that meets the needs of this community. But I'm not going to close libraries and parks. We'll find a way to make it happen. But I'm really hopeful that, truthfully, the Democrats take over the House and they're able to change some of the things that happened. I'm not certain that's going to be able to be done until the change in the White House. But all communities across the United States know about this. All counties are worried. It doesn't matter whether it's from Erie County in New York to Chatham County, the southern part of Georgia. And it's not going to be good.
Yeah.
And we're basically paying so the wealthiest got a big tax cut.
Last two questions. The best thing about being county executive and the biggest challenge?
They're related in some ways. The best thing is you can actually make an impact on people's lives.
Yeah.
It's unlike other positions because you can implement change that positively impacts people's lives. And the challenge of it is, how do you go about it and impact the most people? You and I know that whenever you announce something, you're never going to have 100% support.
Never.
I've always said the only time you agree with a political candidate 100% of the time is if you are staring at yourself in a mirror. Because you're always going to find something you disagree with a political candidate. But in an environment which can be pretty nasty, and Erie County, as I said, is a purple county with some very conservative areas, when I announce things, not everybody's agreeable.
Right.
But my goal is, what is going to make the biggest difference for all? And so if we're implementing things like Live Well Erie, and it helps a significant portion of the population, maybe not everybody, but it does, then that's a good thing. So the best thing is you can make a difference in people's lives. It's truthfully why I left practicing law. When I was practicing law, I could help out my clients, which at any one time I might have 20. Now I represent a community of 1 million.
Yeah, but you also could make much more money as
God,
an attorney.
Yes.
Yes. For 20 clients.
A lot of people talk about, you make good money as county executive. I said, it's a nice salary. I'd be making substantially more if I had been practicing law in private sector.
Do you think you'll go back to that?
Nah.
No,
really?
Because
I like making a difference in people's lives. And I just don't see that. Because I'm doing okay. It's not like I'm making a ton. It's $140,000 for those that don't know. $140,000 is county executive. But so it's not a ton of money. But I can live my life. But I get more satisfaction out of knowing I improved somebody's life, or I made a difference that helped that child out. And even if they don't know that, at least I know that what we did made a difference in their lives.
So you're going to walk out of the door in a year and a half. What do you want to be remembered for?
That just, he cared and he made a difference in this community, and it's a better community. Whether it's the Health and Human Services, the work that we did on economic development. You will certainly know when I came in 2012 and you were in the city, it was tough in this region. It was not good. I mean, our unemployment rate in 2012 was over 9%. Our unemployment rate's hovering just about 4, just below. But it's still, there's people that are hurting, so there's more people that need help. But that I made a difference. The county was better for it, and in the long run, the community is better because he cared.
Well, it has been a pleasure. We have had many of the, what I call the bigwigs in politics, and now we have someone who is a national representative for county government. So that's right at the top of the food chain. I thank you for stopping by. I thank you for your understated efforts that many people don't know about, but I sat at the table. I agreed with you when we talked about clawing back money from businesses that got money from the government and didn't do what they said they would do, and I voted with you on that. I was like, yes, let's get that done. I sat there as we gave businesses chances that we probably should have clawed it back quicker, but you just believed, hey, let's give them a chance. So I've seen all of those parts of Marc Poloncarz. And I wanted, although I know most of your interviews are about, let's just talk the business, I wanted people to really, especially African Americans who might not know you as well as I do, of the efforts that you have given for health. And as we just heard, for what you're going to have to do for people, all people who are struggling in this county, and I appreciate you.
Well, thank you, my friend, and I appreciate your service because people don't understand how difficult it is being a public servant, and I thank you for it. And I understand why you left, too.
Yeah, and I'm enjoying it. Hey, listen, we'll be back after these messages. Brian K. Lewis Funeral Home and Hobson's, the doctor of dry cleaning. We'll be right back.
When it comes to something as personal as your clothes, you need to deal with somebody you can trust. That's why so many people turn to Hobson's Dry Cleaning, conveniently located in the heart of the community at 874 East Delavan at the corner of Wyoming.
When you take your clothes to Hobson's, you can trust that they'll be ready on time.
You can trust that your whites will be white.
You can trust that you'll always get a fair price and service with a smile.
You can even trust that you won't have to get out of your car if you don't want to. Hobson's has a drive-through window for your convenience.
Trust is what it's all about at Hobson's Dry Cleaning.
Hobson's Dry Cleaning, your one-stop dry cleaners serving the community for over 30 years at 874 East Delavan at the corner of Wyoming. Call 891-8298. That's 891-8298.
Brian K. Lewis Funeral Home has 3 locations to serve you in Buffalo. 347 Peckham, 2258 Bailey Avenue, and Providence Memorial Chapel at 1275 Sycamore. Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes offers traditional services, and they have services for all faiths. And at Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes, they have air-conditioned parlors and chapels. Financing is available, as is limousine service. At those difficult moments in your life, Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes is available where you are with counseling services. Call toll-free 877-885-7734. That's 877-885-7734. Or locally 845-5545. Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes. We are here to serve you, here to serve this present age. Call today, toll-free 877-885-7734. Or email info@brianklewisfuneralhome.com.
It was a wonderful interview with our county executive, and thank him for being with us. Learned a lot, and just being able to bring people to platform that and digging deeper into who they really are.
Yeah.
Because you see them on TV, you see the laws and all that, but who is that person really? And to hear of the level that he has risen to nationally.
Yeah, and I think that's the beauty of it, knowing that, hey, my time is up.
Yeah.
But my work isn't over.
Yeah.
And he said for 17 months he's getting ready to lead the nation's county officials, and with his political action committee influencing quality candidates that him and his organization feel could benefit the local communities. And to your point, I think even his personality, because sometimes we call it sometimes dry humor or just dryness, but to me he is hilarious. And my personal story is, my first really run-in with him was November, the snowstorm of 2014, and I was out driving. I was a technician, so I'm dealing with the snow, but to enjoy him coming on press conferences and be like, oh, well, you can call the media if you want to, but they can't come save you. And I was just like, there's an elected official that just says what's on his mind.
So, I think about the fact that, some people, when they're elected, it's like, I don't need this. I brought up about you can make a lot more money as an attorney.
Yes.
Why all of us? So it is there are people out there who are doing the job because they like doing the job.
Absolutely.
And let's not act like it doesn't come with a lot of power.
Yeah.
But I know as an elected official, especially kind of like locally, the perks are so little. It ain't no like I think about the one of the lowest not forms ago when you talk about the ladder, city council and all that, but they get the most crap thrown at them.
Right.
And they're not even high on the ladder.
No.
And then you get somebody, I always say, like in Congress and everything, you don't even know when to call them or what to call them for.
No, they come drop off checks and have press conferences. We love our Congressman Tim Kennedy, but he just shows up, press conference, nice check, and nice little rally, and then he's back to D.C.
That's it. Hey, so I want to talk about, this AI stuff has been in the news, and I don't want to talk about it from the sense of to use AI or not to use AI, but there is uproar across the country of data centers, these AI data centers that want to expand. And a lot of places that I'm seeing across the country that are reportedly where they want to expand are in areas that at first I was like, why wouldn't they want a data center? Why wouldn't they want jobs? Why wouldn't they want that? So I want to take a kind of dive into this and talk about what an AI data center is so that a seventh grader could understand. Now, I'm reading it because I had to go and look because I really didn't understand what it was. And so, a data center is this massive computer, basically, right? And it's computer upon a computer upon computer.
Yep.
And the way that it learns is taking information, and then when you ask an AI questions, it does something called interruption.
Right.
Because it kind of pauses to look at all of this information. So the more information you give AI, the better of an outcome you can get. It's like saying, how do I make my grass green? Well, it's going to give you a whole lot of stuff.
Absolutely.
But if you say, how do I make my bluegrass green in Buffalo, New York, in the summertime with whatever, it's going to dig. Now, from what I'm reading, is that the AI then is like, if you can imagine when you have your computer, like my laptop on my lap, it gets warm.
Yes.
And so imagine having all of these computers running. You have to keep them cool.
Yes.
And the way you keep things cool, of course, massive air conditioning, which basically uses massive amounts of water and massive amounts of electric. And now I understand where this noise, because some people talk about the noise factor at AI centers, because you're running all of these computers, you're running all of this water, you're running all of this air conditioning to keep these things from overheating.
Yes.
I think I got a basis.
Yes.
The big thing is when you connect all this together, of course, the more this thing grows, which one took over the other day? AI took over.
Where?
I don't know exactly where, but it was all on the news. And so now they're talking about you got to have a kill switch for this thing because it started taking over another AI.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it got ahead of the humans.
Wow.
And this has been what the sci-fi stuff is about.
Yeah.
So I really didn't understand why these communities didn't want it. And you got some information over there about even the state of New York locally.
So the governor, we know, has banned certain most incentives from industrial development agencies. Our local one is Erie County IDA, but they can't incentivize data centers coming. So her quote from on the data center moratorium is AI data centers are reshaping our future. No one gets to build that future by asking New Yorkers to pay more for electricity, sacrifice our water resources, or threaten the reliability of our electric grid. And so one of her other statements was, when if you want to come here, this is what she's saying to the companies, if you want to come here, you have to bring your own power or pay a premium to use our grid.
So and the grid is important.
Yeah.
Because if you look at countries like the Dominican and other places where the grid is overpowered because it's so old that when everybody now has computers and they have air conditioning, you have these power outages because the grid can't handle it.
Well,
so you have to expand it.
I was going to say, we face it. We've had to send out notices when we had the little heat wave here, like, hey, everybody turn your AC to this. And I doubt anybody did, because I'm not sitting in my house sweating.
Exactly.
But there's too much draw on the grid when everybody's AC sitting at 65 to 68 degrees and our infrastructure isn't able to support that.
Well, Metro Atlanta, for those of you in Atlanta, Metro Atlanta is now the second largest data center market in North America after Northern Virginia, ending 2025 with over 1,400 megawatts of capacity at all those numbers under construction, one of the largest pipelines in the country. Demand is so intense that Atlanta's data center vacancy rate hit just 1%, meaning facilities are leased up before they are even open.
Wow.
Just this week, OpenAI announced a $20 billion complex near Savannah alongside a separate $13 billion project in Clayton. Georgia lawmakers introduced roughly 20 data center bills this session, covering everything from ratepayer protection to tax break rollbacks to an outright moratorium, and none of them passed.
None.
They couldn't get them through.
Well, because, our government, our federal government, is Republican run right now. And our president is saying our nation's policy is going to be to do whatever it takes to be the leader in world artificial intelligence. So he's claiming that he already has agreements with these companies that they're going to pay their part into the grid, but he's full support and build them everywhere, put them everywhere.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming in any red to purple areas, they're going to be like, come on, because and you do run a delicate balance, because now you're also talking about, am I hindering jobs? What am I hindering by protecting the environment and the infrastructure?
Absolutely. Over in Georgia, the Central Tension Georgia Power won approval to add nearly 10 gigawatts of new generation, mostly gas-fired plants, largely to serve data center demand, at a cost estimated between $50 and $60 billion over the coming decades. The Southern Environmental Law Center and Sierra Club have sued, arguing regulators approved the build-out without proof it was actually needed. So local governments now are stepping in. For those of you in the Atlanta area, with state legislation stalled, the fight has shifted to counties and cities. At least 4 metro Atlanta departments, Douglas County, Griffin, Cherokee, I'm going to say this wrong, Coweta County, I think it's Coweta, in July, have passed temporary moratoriums on new data center permits so they can write proper zoning rules, because they don't even have it. It's like when we got food trucks. We had no laws,
no ordinances,
food trucks
nothing.
just pulling up in front of it. So this thing is rolling out so fast. And here's my thought on it. I wonder if it's moving too fast, and if AI is going to eventually figure out how to operate without having all of the hardware, because this is the hardware.
I would agree. I think, and again, it's probably going to be one of those. You were going to see it in another country first.
I agree.
You're going to see it in another country
Yeah.
first, and then we're still going to be catching up to where they are. And I think that's going to be the chase we're in. We're going to constantly be in this chase, and I think that's why, like you said, it's just moving so fast.
Yeah.
We talked about on this show just 2 years ago. Hey man, you better get ready. It's coming. You better get
Like
ready.
we were just learning it, sitting at the table and like putting in stuff and like, look what this does.
Yeah.
And look where it is now. I think personally that I remember when 8-track came out,
Oof.
and then so everybody bought 8-tracks, put them up under their seats in their car. This is how I'm envisioning it.
Uh-huh.
Then all of a sudden you got cassette. So you don't need this big 8-track player that you can only hear. And then comes out CDs.
Yeah.
And now I haven't bought a CD. I don't have a CD player.
No.
So now everything is internet based.
Yep.
So I'm just learning how to use Apple Music.
Are you serious?
I've never had Apple Music. So matter of fact, the reason I wanted it is something you said to Craig that I was like, I wonder what he's talking about. We were riding somewhere, I think Albany, wherever, and Craig had on his playlist, and you said,
yeah.
send me that playlist. And I was like, I wonder what I just thought you were talking. So
That's right. I forgot.
then I figured it out, and I'm like, so I asked him to send me a song, and I couldn't receive it because I don't have Apple Music.
Right.
So now I know why nobody's buying CDs, because as long as you pay your subscription on Apple Music.
And that's the struggle, because like you said, I get notifications now. Hey, this album is dropping in 2 days.
Right.
Want to get the preview songs now? So now I'm getting notifications. If I listen to enough gospel, it'd be like, hey, Fred Hammond's releasing this. Ricky Diller's new album coming out. I couldn't even tell you what's on Billboard charts right now because it just comes
So that's how I'm looking at these
Yeah.
data centers.
Yep.
That governments, that communities are paying all of this money for these data centers, for the infrastructure, all that. Will they really be needed? And remember
Yeah.
how big computers were 15 years ago.
Yep.
Remember when Apple first came out, how big that was, how big a PC is. Very rarely, unless you're a gamer,
Yep.
or you need like the power what we
Yep.
need here for what we do here, you don't need a big desktop.
No.
I still have this relic right here
Yeah.
that I refuse to get away from, but I was in Best Buy the other day, and I'm looking at these paper thin.
Right.
When I put this on my back and I travel, this is a big deal.
Well,
when they've got these paper
I was getting ready to
thin
say
ones.
the only struggle is now you do lose. You lose some of your inputs and outputs, right? So now,
a lot of them.
Yeah. So most of them is just like now you're just power, and you're able to just charge with a couple USB-Cs. Like there is no, I got my jump drives,
Right.
I got this. So you lose those capabilities, but for a lot of people, it's in the cloud.
Absolutely.
so you don't need my jump drive. I'm gonna play with it here. Then when I get home, I'll just bring it up on another computer because it's in the cloud.
Absolutely. So you have this big outcry, but it seems as if, from what I'm reading, a lot of the affluent communities are just saying no.
Right.
No and Hague's no.
Mm-hmm.
Other communities are kind of like on this fence, so that's why I wanted to bring this up. So residents near Dalton have complained about construction noise, and there's an activist by the name of Judy Mullis who's fighting a proposed facility near Noonan, a suburb or outlying city of Atlanta, say that lawmakers, quote, let us down, end quote, by failing to pass protections. Faith groups have also, according to the AP, have also joined the legal fight against Georgia Power's expansion alongside environmental organizations.
So I'm looking, even so you're reading Georgia, I'm looking at New Yorkers. Most New Yorkers are kind of in the same boat. They support AI, but they're skeptical of the data centers for every reason we've just stated. In national polling reflects New York sentiment. And as of May 26, a Gallup poll found 70% of Americans oppose building an AI data center in their community. 48% strongly oppose one nearby. Only about 1/4 support local constructions. A Reuters poll similarly found 57% of Americans oppose data centers in their communities. So it's like I feel like it's the reverse of NIMBY. Not in my backyard. It's hey, no, I support AI. I support the jobs. I just don't want it here affecting my my bills, my environment, my community.
Absolutely. Some developers are trying to get ahead, according to some articles, by having Microsoft, one of them, having a kind of closed loop air conditioning system, like kind of what you have in your house.
Yeah.
And not having all of this water consistently going. It's called closed loop cooling systems that eliminate water use for cooling at its Georgia sites, and says it will finance its own dedicated power. And they got gobs of money, power infrastructure, rather than straining the public grid and compute. So I think those companies that have the money, they're going to be ahead in the race.
Yes,
because they're going to say, we'll do all our own stuff. We'll create our own island. But I don't know that. This thing just keeps getting smarter, and smarter, and
faster,
like, I'm
and
not
faster and faster.
It, because I'm hoping it will find a cure for cancer.
Yes.
I'm hoping that it will, find cures to keep people alive longer and solve problems that would take us as humans decades, if not centuries, to solve. So it's here, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, and I was going to say, I use mine almost, even though Google has their own now, I use mine more than I use Google for searching because it helps weed through all of the articles. And matter of fact, like last night, I was like, okay, I got to change the brakes in my car. And I'm like, hey, chat, do I need any special tools from Lexus to get my brakes off? And it's giving me, oh, no, you should blah, blah, blah. And it's like, oh, yeah, you can view this. And I'm like, oh, man, this is like now I can just go to the store if I want to. So I do think you're right. And I think the benefit, because, I'm always also, how do people get in? I think if you are a technological genius or brain, I think where smaller companies get in is, how do I solve a big company's problem?
Right.
So like you said, is it the closed air? Do I now think like, okay, how do I protect the environment for these bigger companies? Because they just want to build and get rolling. So I think those where we got to start thinking, as we not to be behind the 8 ball in our communities. Absolutely. It's okay, how do I solve these big mega companies' problem?
Because that's the people who really make the money.
Absolutely.
Anybody who can solve a problem.
Absolutely.
A plumber.
Yes.
An electrician, a scientist, a business owner. I can't wait for community to come back, but we concentrate so much on, I'm going to make this clothing brand. I'm going to, well, you ain't really solving nobody's problem. No. At the end of the day, if we that's what China is doing.
Yes.
China is taking AI, teaching their people AI, students.
Yep.
And students are starting businesses because they have learned what's needed on AI.
Yep.
We sitting back going, don't use it. It's going to, your brain power. Listen, it's there. It's like saying, everybody talking about, I wouldn't get in a driver's car. I get it because we not used to it.
Right.
But that's about all you about to have, because Waymo is out there.
Well,
just expand it even more.
And you brought up a great point and great line. Oh, don't use it, your brain power. But we're talking to a generation that have just sat in front of a tablet for 4 years. Like, what are we talking about? What are we talking about?
That's all they know is tablets.
Right.
They haven't seen a book. As a matter of fact, I'm trying to downsize a little bit, and I decided one of the things that's about to go is my bookshelves. Everything I need is on my computer. So, I just wanted to just bring some knowledge about this, because I think it's so important to talk about.
Yes, absolutely.
But Atlanta, Buffalo, in between, I hope you got some knowledge about because it's here.
It's
not
here.
going away.
It's here, and it's not going away. It's just going to. And you know what they say about stampede? You either get out the way, or you're gonna get run over. So
You got it. Until next week.
Power to the people.